Um, 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 uh, okay. Ring, ring, ring. Gather in the. Let's go. They're the right voice things. Check. No sound. Fuck. No chat is more like it. What's up, Skywalk? No sound, no chat. We're gonna be demoing a bunch of stuff, and I'm gonna Can you not? Wonder why the. Hey, how's it going? Yeah, nice to meet you. What should I call you? Dylan, right? Yes, I remember now that it says that. Super. Um, yeah. So, what I want to do is kind of like share a few projects, kind of show you a little bit about some of the multiplayer things I've done, kind of get your input, and then we can kind of like swap ideas or swap prototypes or whatever. I did play your Isleween game, which was really great.
Like, okay, it's like college, do it midnight, but 11:59. So I didn't worry about it, but do it noon, slightly missed the deadline.
Mm.
That was a bummer.
Ah, yeah, that does suck, but you did get some good plays in, and as long as people play it and like it, that's half the battle, right?
Yeah, I'm glad I made it.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see your prototypes.
Yeah. Let me share my screen. I've got a lot of different things. So like way back in the day, I was doing like really basic like FPS style games, right?
Oh,
So
the skeleton hand.
yeah, so this game is a game where you can hook people like Roadhog from Overwatch,
Heck yeah. Grappling
and
hooks are always fun.
exactly, it's also a grappling hook. And then I made a multiplayer like Souls-like game. Um, this was kind of a I wouldn't say it was not a good project to work on because if you think about what a multiplayer Souls-like game is going to be like, it's a little bit more than a solo dev can do, right? But
Yeah, absolutely.
it's a PvE,
It just feels like.
yeah, PvE. It also has PvP. All my games have like, you could turn PvP on. But let's see if this one boots up. So when all my prototypes kind of work, they all have this like single player, multiplayer remote. So this is kind of a slightly older way of doing it, but this would go to a dedicated server hosted on AWS.
Okay, cool.
And so if I just play single player, this was my challenge to make something after that basic FPS. Like, can I make something look good, right? Like, or at least like respectable.
I mean, this looks really cool. Is the I know large swaths of grass is always like a really big challenge in real time rendering. How do you do that?
Yeah, I'm on a Mac. Let's see. I'm at 36 FPS on a Mac. It definitely runs a lot better on my PC with like full GeForce, All his hurt animation is broken, of course, but at least he still
I was
does.
gonna say.
Yeah, I even got like a little shop in here that you can I think like buy stuff, like a shield. Oh, I got the axe. That's good enough. So this was a pretty long running project. So I worked on some of this one last year, right?
That's really impressive.
Yeah. And these are Mixamo animations, which are from Adobe, and Mixamo kind of sucks, but definitely a fun one. And that does go up to a dedicated server. And then the other project I have, got a crash. Let's see. Is this Tundra prototype. This one is basically a vertical slice of Helldivers.
Oh, okay.
So do you know what a vertical slice is?
I think I've seen this. Yeah. You sent me a clip of it forever ago.
Yeah, exactly. And so this is the same like dedicated server approach with full server authority. I hosted, so that means I need to run with multiple. Let's see if there's another one. Yeah, there's a bunch of them. Join local, connect to host. So if we set up a multiplayer project, this is the kind of the part that I can do. Right.
Okay.
Yeah. And then this thing walks. You can turn it on or off. This is the walking castle, right?
Heck yeah. Yeah, are the legs procedurally animated, or is that just a...
There's simple IK. There's like a good YouTube about IK. There's probably a bunch of better ways to do it. I don't know how experienced you are with like 3D, but
most of my so I'm still fairly new to my game dev journey. I graduated college last year, like a year and a half ago. And I did what every newbie game dev does that they should never do, where I'm like, oh, my dream game. Okay, let's get started on that. Some big 3D project that I'll work on for 3 months, then realize that it doesn't have a good foundation, then move on to the next project. So I've done that twice now.
Yes.
And now I'm in my game jam arc.
Right. I didn't start my game jam arc until pretty recently. I was still trying to do like you said, the game jam. I mean the dream game thing, and all of mine are kind of modeled off of Valheim and stuff like that, which is way too much, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, this one.
No, same deal, dude.
Yeah, no, you're right on the right path, because game jamming does teach you a lot quickly, right?
And even I think the best thing that I've learned too is that a lot of the time I'll do a game jam and I'll be I get very in love with concepts. So other people will propose all these ideas, and I used to be like, oh, I don't really want to do that though. It doesn't sound fun. And then being forced to make something that someone else has come up with and is not really my quote unquote my baby, that kind of idea, I realized okay, it's just fun to make something no matter what, and this could turn out to be really fun.
Yeah.
Oftentimes better than what I think would be best.
Yeah, that's why I've been looking for people like yourself to team up with, because my friends love to play these games, but they sure as heck do not care at all about the actual ideas or making them. So it's good to have
Fair.
like-minded individuals, and it's nice that RVA game jams can be that place, right?
No, it's really cool. Really cool to meet people through this, actually.
Yeah, it is. Are you going to the meetup on Monday by chance?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I might actually be able to make it to that one at Ardent or something down in Scott's Edition, I think.
I still haven't been.
Yeah. And so did you go to VCU, or are you local?
Nah, I'm from Connecticut.
Oh, cool.
Moved down here for Capital One.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a good place. You got a good spot.
Yeah, I definitely I used to work in defense, which really stunk. Like it was very like especially when you're dreaming of game jam, you're in the office like 10 hours a day in a windowless room doing work you don't like doing, and I'm like, I really want to be making games.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas here it's a lot more remote. On my lunch break, I can mess around with game stuff, which is pretty nice.
Yeah, definitely. Got to get your work done though. I find it hard sometimes because I'm like, man, I just want to go work on my prototypes and
Yeah,
damn
that's been a
this
real struggle for me.
actual code.
That's okay. That's why we make the next lethal company and make like $1 billion or whatever, and then
Yeah,
make
yeah.
games
Just win the
forever.
lottery, real simple.
Yeah.
I mean, my goals are slightly less ambitious. It's more like have one thing published on Steam that sells like 100 copies, or maybe even 10 is good enough. Like that's kind of where I'm at right now.
I was being hyperbolic. Yeah,
Yeah,
same boat, pretty much. I still haven't put anything on Steam.
yeah. I haven't
And it's
either.
weird. I have that weird anxiety where I'm like, if I put something on Steam that I won't be proud of in like 5 years, will that like reflect poorly on me as a developer? Like
Mm-hmm.
I have that anxiety of like, do I put something up now before I'm good at putting stuff up that will make people be jaded? Like, oh, this isn't as good as this thing in the
X
past
or
or
Y.
whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's hard. I mean, I try not to compare, but doing this, somewhat to, you know, it's art too, right? Are you an artist in any capacity, or is this your art?
Um, I'm pretty loosey goosey with the term art. I like to think that programming is art in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
I do a lot of Blender stuff, but
Oh,
I'm not
cool.
good at it.
Hey, I mean, the fact that you like know all the hotkeys and stuff is like, well, enough to get stuff done. I'm basically like a small child in Blender because I think I said this. Like, I have to draw the line somewhere on stuff I'm learning.
Yeah, it's a big thing. Yeah, that's especially when I was doing solo dev for a while ago. I was doing this 3D God Simulator game, and I
Oh,
was like, oh, I'll do all the art and all the
yeah,
programming
I saw that.
and all this stuff, and it kind of collapsed under its own weight.
Interesting. Here, I'm gonna send you this little link so you can test out this. If you go here, you'll see me, maybe.
Okay. Ooh, and it's in stream. Like, wait, no, sorry. Is this
Yeah,
Oh,
it is.
yeah.
It should be me. And then if I do that, and then I can, yeah. So there's a couple of, if you join with a name on Chrome, let's see if that works. I can try to. It is. So eventually I'm gonna have like the ability to go in and grab these little characters with XR, VR controls. Yeah, so you know how some streams have those little characters that kind of like walk on the bottom of the screen, and you can kind of like send in bits or whatever to make them talk, or this is kind of an extension of that where you can actually play it. Interestingly, I don't see your, there you come. Yeah, it's just gonna take an extra maybe 45, like maybe 30 seconds. Because I think it'll get you. There you go. So now we should be in the same session. Yeah. So what you can do here is there's like a little like ball you can knock around, and I am making games that are playable by chat. So, and they can like, you can press tab and chat and it pops up. Yeah, I think I'm. So you run around, and then I'm gonna be able to like pick people up and do stuff with them, as well as like chatters will become fish, and then the people that are actually in here can like fish them out. Oh, there's one more control. There's like B. You can press B and then become a ball. So it's playing a lot with like ragdolling is a lot of fun. It's not terribly easy to network, but this is essentially a like a it's a prototype still, but it has all the right pieces, right? Yeah, yeah. So the key is to keep everybody kind of in the same place. Um, and I can show you. I think I can show you that the way that I've done procedural infinite terrain is like in the snow game. I can bring this up. You can watch either location, but there's like a terrain mechanic called wandering terrain, and basically what this does is it's a um, it's kind of an illusion. So if I zoom all the way out here, and you can see that the middle piece is 0, 0, right? And all you do is like create the illusion that you're moving infinitely, whereas these pieces just drop off. It's like it's an array, so you pop front and drop, and you you drop back and pop it to the front, and yeah, hmm yeah, yeah. Here, I think it'll actually do it in editor with the tool setting. If I and there it goes. So I made this like essentially walking terrain. And this allows people to go in infinitely in one direction or the other direction on a tick. And the way that we keep everybody on the correct plane is snow. You get too cold if you go too far. So you freeze to death if you're not near your heat source. Hmm. And there is I think I might have shown you a little bit of a, let's see, this multi-world demo. This was something that I got curious about. But yeah, yeah, no, no, that's what it's for. It's literally, oh, there's one more key, wave with one. Hello, Tumbleware. So, I just love these like kind of social things, and like I'm in this to be social, so you can kind of um mhm, mhm, mhm. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I was a competitive gamer in past, but I've gotten to be where I value the social aspect more than the competitive aspect, because just a little bit older than you, but I don't know, I've had a whole career at Capital One already. So, uh, but yeah, I think this template that I'm showing is really great. Like if we had a gnome mesh or something, or a dwarf mesh or something, and we just mapped it onto this little guy. Um, Also, I think this can become, it can swap sides like camera wise, and it has like an aim motion where I don't think it's bound on this prototype, but with with that, like you can kind of do everything and the ragdolling, right? Um, which is always fun, like in repo. Hmm. I think the player does when they're dead, but by then, what's interesting is that there's no input from the player at that point. So yeah. Yeah. Yes, exactly. Yeah, you're thinking about it correctly because you don't want like a deterministic physics system unless it's critical to the gameplay. But if it's just for goofing, um, that's a great place for ragdolling and physics bodies. But so this template, I'm thinking of like kind of take like creating essentially kind of a playground or some sort of friend slop or friend kino, uh, template and having all this set up by maybe my next big project. And yes, exactly. Oh, I have a chatter. Cool, Jim. What games did I compete in? I competed in Halo 1. So that was back in the prehistoric days of MLG, which is like the first esports circuit. And then I also competed in well, World of Warcraft, but that was a whole problem because and then Dota 2. Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. That's a lot of people did that. Uh huh. Yeah, I had to move on. I also competed in PUBG pretty heavily when that came out not long ago. That was fun. Oh yeah, I remember that. Oh wow, yeah. I was actually top 200 in actual PUBG. It was a lot of chicken din dins on my Twitch channel back in the day, and then my claim to fame is I killed Shroud once. Was solo. I was like, it was so insane because you come across a player like that, it's like I just heard like this incredible volume of shooting, and I thought it was like 4, 5 people fighting, and it was just him, and he was like in a field. It was like spotting a unicorn, and instantly he locks onto me, and I almost die. Like I'm down to a sliver of health. I managed to heal up and then take him down, but oh my gosh, those type of people are a different level. It's so funny when people think he's cheating. It's just like, no, you actually just haven't ever been shot by a pro. Yeah. Now I'm just like, yeah, StarCraft 2 is another one. Um, but yeah, what about what else? What other game jams have you done besides the Halloween one? And um, how many you've done quite a few, right? Are you feeling like you've got a hang of it?
Yeah, yeah. I definitely think these past two have been very informative. My first, so I made a really big mistake on my. Here, do you want me to send you my itch page? You can check out what I have up. I have a few, but my more impressive stuff is on my GitHub for.
Hmm.
Those are my long term projects that I kind of abandoned, but
Yeah, yeah, of course. I mean, I've got them all. I keep pulling like little tiny things out of my old projects for sure. Oh yeah,
yeah,
we've
that's definitely the most recent one. I pulled a few of the 3D platforming ideas that I had.
right.
Um,
Side erasure. Yes, I remember that.
yes, yes, yeah. That was like a weekend long little narrative thing. I think it's funny because I know there's like writing inconsistencies I have to fix. When you finish a jam game, it feels like tough to get back to touching it because you've been doing it for the past like several hours in a row.
Mm-hmm.
But then, arguably more impressive but equally long is Sproutfall and Going Green. Going Green was my friend, and I did it. He's a really good programmer, and he kind of headed the whole like software designs with like MVC
Mm-hmm.
type stuff. But these are both C++ SFML jam games, which is a very stupid idea. I've realized as
Mm.
I've gotten to more jams, but it
Mm-hmm.
was very informative. Um, I think building a game without like a strict engine is a lot better for knowing how to use an engine.
It's fair. Yeah. I've kind of come in through game dev through Godot, and basically, it was a great learning tool because it's a very tough topic to get into, but Godot makes it so much easier to at least start, get something moving, right?
Oh yeah, I know you're also like a like I'm saying like if I had like a whole career as a software engineer then did this, I'd probably be a lot better at just Godot without having to had been like, oh, if I was making a game engine, this is what I include through making this like little framework games.
True. That's true. Yeah. So more engine stuff. I mean, I'm kind of coming in like learning Godot, and then the deeper you dig into the nodes and the underlying like principles, the more you learn about engines because they have a well designed engine. So
Yeah, absolutely.
interesting.
So I have these two. Then on my GitHub, I have. I guess I could. I wonder if I should. I hope I saw it download on my computer. Let me see if I can have the .NET Godot, and then if I haven't deleted the files because I need to get a new PC and I'm almost out of space.
Yeah.
Sorry, let me check my my downloads folder for Godot. It's nice having it just run as an executable, but it means I never actually move it to like a folder, and I just type in Godot.
You're on Windows?
Okay, there it is. Yeah. Unfortunately, I keep getting like frightening things where you see all these tweets by Windows like, yeah, next version of Windows is going to have agentic AI built into the OS. I'm like,
I know.
I just want to make games.
Microsoft pissed me off just enough to never use them again.
Very smart. Very smart. See if I can clone this. I guess I deleted the repo because I do this thing where I tell my big group of friends from college that I'm like, hey guys, let's all watch this movie. Then I'll spend like a weekend or two like completely re-editing the movie to make it like start off kind of normal but get very, very stupid over time. See how long it takes me to notice. And that's filled my hard drive with like all these like stupid video clips and sound effects. So I keep deleting things that I might need.
That is actually the best.
It's the most fun thing in the world.
What's the
though,
best
when they go,
movie
like,
that you did that way?
So it was The Departed.
Have
you ever watched that?
I have a long time ago.
Yeah, it started off with just like Vine Boom sound effects when people were getting shot, and like Minecraft. Like they noticed the Minecraft chest opening noise when they opened the briefcase, and I was like, oh, I think it was in the original movie.
Scorsese, must get some influence from his daughter.
Yeah.
Because she makes him do vines and TikToks.
Oh, I've seen those.
Yeah,
he's just standing in the background, like
she's the editor here, guys. She's stepping up.
Yeah. No, that was also part of the gaslight. Is I was like, oh, I found this on some piracy site. It says it's like the director's cut, guys. Let's watch it. So anytime they were like, why is it so weird? I'm like, oh, I don't know why it's so weird.
Yeah, director's daughter. That's good. You got it. Yeah, I think I'd have some friends who would love to do that. Troll. Maybe we can get a movie they'll watch. And
so fun.
Some of my buddies know like movies like line for line, word for word, and have like this database of actors. They wouldn't get fooled that easy.
Well, that's kind of the potted for my my hometown friends who I still haven't shown my cut to. So I'm worried they'll clock it immediately. But yeah. I made it for them because it's like we always joke about it and reference it.
Yeah, it's time to get together and yeah. Good times.
All right, let me see if I can clone this. Already exists. No, it's getting mad at me and saying I don't have my. Oh no, this is my.
See if I can run Sproutfall on my crossover.
Yeah, let me know. I know I had some problems with target architecture on Windows where it was running on my machine and not someone else's. Mm-hmm. So if it doesn't work, it's my fault, not yours.
Yeah. We'll give it a super shot here, but your Ioween was great. It was in 3D. Not a lot of people do game jams in 3D, so that's awesome.
Thank you. I think I like 3D more, to be honest.
I'm with you. Like, I thought I would never make a 3D game in my whole life. I thought it was just too beyond me, but now all I do is 3D.
That's the real reason to use a game engine too. Like using a framework, it's really difficult because you have to write collisions and stuff, which sucks. But for 2D, it's like box is just AABB. It's pretty easy.
Yeah.
When you go into 3D and you have like meshes and like skeletal animations, there's like
quaternarian rotations and
Yeah, it's just I'm just gonna use an engine at that point.
Yeah, I'm with you.
See if I can download this. Okay, why is it?
There are some like small like things I like. Man, he really needs some ambient light so that the light casts on both sides of this character model, so you can always see the eyes, that sort of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And even like when I'm doing stuff in Godot and I hit a bug, I'm like, dude, imagine if I was writing my own like engine here and I had to go, okay, is this my render messing up or is this my like material being wrong?
Yeah.
I got Apes downloaded, which is like a more is it, I wonder if it's more impressive. I don't know. I had a very, very strong vision with this one. It's sort of like a god game, card game
Hmm.
combo type thing, except it never really fell into place. And yeah, I had a really big grand vision for it, which is always really bad for the minute to minute gameplay, in my opinion. I can get this running. Yippee!
Cool Jim's like, oh, I did some quaternarians in college. Fuck doing that manually. Yeah, I just, wish I had that math brain. Unfortunately, um I had terrible math teachers growing up, so I hated math and loved art. So I come from like a pure art background, which is a
I'm
weird
kind of in the same
place.
boat. Not really in the same boat, but okay, so I'm getting some null problems. Yeah, because I probably need to link this all up in Godot again. Apologize.
All good. I'm
Um,
still trying to run stuff.
but yeah, in high school, I think the reason why people say they're not a math person is they just have one bad math teacher in like middle school who just completely sets them off that track. Like, because it foundations build upon foundations. You have some poor instruction, you start to hate it, and then years later you think you're just bad at it, but you actually just like didn't get the right foundation.
Absolutely.
Um, which kind of what happened to me. I think I had a lot of that in like middle school, and then I was pretty insecure about it, and I was doing CS in college, so I was like, okay, I'll do a math major too. So I did that, and I think I filled in a lot of gaps. But I definitely think that when it comes to games, I'm a lot more of like I think there's two genres of game developers. There's like the idealist who really wants to like make this really cool interactive experience that they have all mapped out in their head, and like these moments would be awesome. And I think there's the people who make stuff like Balatro, which is way more successful, but like it's just baseline fun, and I don't think there's much like thesis to it. If that makes sense.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, having a sense of fun and having a good vision, like that's like half the battle.
Yeah,
Uh,
I think game jams are what I'm trying to work on for the fun because it's really easy to when you want to make games, you go, oh, just make it like I'll make it like Zelda and Mario. That's awesome. I like both those things. Then you're coming to making it, you're like, wait a second, I need to like actually know why these work.
it's true. And one thing I think about a lot is like when you're making a game, like try to go a little bit with the conventions. Like some people will try to make, oh, I'm gonna make a game with no combat and it'll be like this, and then they just like end up like making combat but rebranding it as dancing or spells or something, right? It's like no, just kind of just go with you know the expectations.
Yeah,
There's places
yeah,
to
that's a
like
good point.
stretch and like in theme and make things that are weird and strange, but at some point, like it's still got to be a game.
Yeah, exactly. That's like how what is it? Like the Undertale, like the
Hmm.
pacifist system is just still basically combat. You're just
Fair.
pressing a different button.
Yeah.
Which is it's a very good game because it has that narrative shell around it. When people are like, "Oh, it's completely different when you do a pacifist route," it's like you're kind of just pressing different buttons. You just need to solve this extra puzzle of how do I spare this thing.
Exactly. Uh, that's a good point. Like it's still you're still fighting, you know,
Yeah,
and like green gas is poison, that sort of thing. Like don't like I think it's good advice not to. Oh well, no, that this is different. It's
I'm just gonna import this little thing.
let's see.
Yeah, does Sproutful work out at all or no?
Not on my Mac. I'd probably have to switch my Windows,
Yeah.
which is just gathering dust right now.
Nah, don't worry about it. It's just a little parallax. I honestly I was considering going back with you know what Inscription is, like the C++ to WebAssembly.
No, I haven't heard of that.
Yeah, it's a little thing you can use to port your C++ games to web. So I was considering doing that, but at this point, I'm like, I'll just make a better game, to be honest.
Yeah, that's true. And Godot's really good at web. That's something I've been thinking about. Game Jam's really like I didn't do anything for web before my first game jam, and my partner was like, "Hey, this let's do it for web because you'll get more clicks, you'll get more views." And I was like, "Oh, you're right."
Yeah, it's crazy the analytics of my old like C++ stuff compared to like my actual stuff now.
Here's one more. This is kind of good. Let me send you. I forgot to send you this one. So, are you familiar with WebRTC?
I've heard the term before, but I'm trying to remember exactly what it is.
Basically, it is what powers Zoom and Google Meet. It's real-time communication, so video, audio, whatever. But funny enough, games.
Oh, okay.
So you can use an UDP over WebRTC for true peer-to-peer.
Oh, is this the thing you were just streaming?
I have, yeah. So the Glory, like that little island with the little Godot balls, that's on WebRTC. This is the first part of that. Yeah, if you use Chrome, it's a little faster again, but this is like the FPS version. I think I linked that video the other day about this. There you are. So
In the game?
yeah.
Oh no, yeah.
So I'm gonna change my color. Yeah, you got your color already. And I mentioned I like Halo, so like this looks a little bit like Halo. Let's see, it might take quite a little bit of lag for you on Firefox, but it's instant on Chrome because I think it has hardware acceleration on by default.
Oh, yeah, look at that.
There we are. Ow.
Sorry.
I'm just kidding. If you want to fight, we fight.
Ah.
You can respawn. It has a scoreboard and everything.
What's like that? Does this stuff depend on does it slow down your stuff to have a bunch of open tabs? Because I do have a ton of tabs open.
Not that much. Not as much as you think. It suspends everything. That's not focused.
That's what I figure.
But once you've loaded all the effects and stuff, you'll probably be pretty smooth.
Gotcha.
Ow.
These, yeah. No, this is especially in browser.
Yeah, exactly. And I was thinking of ways to use this tech, especially for like quick prototypes. This is like, oh yeah, instantly you can have somebody join and
even for like something friend swap adjacent. Like imagine if you could have like a demo up just as a browser game. I feel like that's like the best pitch you could do. You don't have to download.
Yeah, it's like, look, you're literally joining your friends instantly. Just send them the link.
Yeah, little physics objects is awesome.
Hit scan pretty far. Headshot.
Okay.
Dang, this guy is not dead yet. I wonder if there's some like damage fall off. I do.
Was that with the sniper or with the pistol?
There, finally gotcha. I think the pistol has a little damage fall off, which is
okay, cool.
Part of from the template that I worked off of. Basically, one of my hobbies is to take people's Godot templates and turn them multiplayer.
That's me stuff, really. That's like the one. It is the one like zone of game stuff I really have not touched at all.
Yeah,
Definitely to work on.
So there is a concept of server authority. Do you understand a server authoritative versus like mesh network maybe?
I actually don't know. I think I have a vague inclination. I think I've heard it before, but I don't want to.
What kind of software background do you have? You have C++, and then for your job you do what kind of DevOps or?
It's pretty fake engineering right now. It's just like Python, Scala, like data stuff, and I do a lot of like I'm in partnerships. Do you know what that is at C1?
It used to be called like there was like a TDP, a technical development program. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm in that, but
yeah.
Partnerships is like the team, or like I forget what. There's so many different. There's like an LOB, which is card. There's Partnerships, which is like the.
Oh yeah, Partnerships. Understood.
Yeah, card. Which is pretty much just like whenever you have like a credit card with Bass Pro Shops and they want to harvest all your information and find out you like fishing.
Yeah, I think their biggest one is Walmart.
Yeah, exactly. Walmart
card. Yeah, good times.
Yeah, so we have that data transmitted to us, we ingest it, and then we harvest all your information or whatever, then send that back to the partner. And that's kind of what my job is. I do the Python stuff, and then I also do like the AWS config stuff for the routes to the partners.
Right on. Yeah. So in the server authoritative model, you would have a EC2 running the server.
Okay.
And in the server authority is something that took me literally years to really understand in terms of multiplayer, but it boils down to who owns what in a shared world. Because you've got these distributed machines. You've got me, you, the server, and any number of other clients, right? And in the server authoritative model, the authority is 1. The server is always the number 1, peer ID number 1. Our peer IDs are very long. They're like 10 numbers. And the server is going to be ultimately responsible for broadcasting the information to every one of the peers about everything that it owns. And since it owns everything, it will broadcast our position, where we look, everything, the bullets traveling. This is great for FPSs and anything where you need to prevent cheating, and possibly account for like rollback. Like if a player's 200 milliseconds back, you need to like roll back where they were and then shoot them and then let them go.
Yeah, that's fair.
So that is good for big multiplayer, especially competitive games. And the clients will only own the inputs that they send. They will have a node in Godot with a script called the player input node, and that will run process, and they get to own the inputs that they're sending. Now, what the server does with those inputs, it tries to play them back as best as possible, and if they find an invalid one, they snap you back to position. That's what happens in a lot of games, right?
Okay, yeah, makes sense.
Yeah. So the alternative to that is what we're doing right now, which is basically mesh or peer-owned networking, where there's no real server in the middle of us. I'm broadcasting my updates to you, and you're broadcasting your updates to me. The issue is then that, okay, so now no one's the arbiter of where I am. I could potentially change my position to be something cheaty.
That's fair. But, the good thing is with co-op stuff, it's like, if you're going to cheat, you're only cheating your experience, right?
Yes. So I think Lethal Company doesn't do a whole lot of server authoritative stuff. They have like a host, but I'm pretty sure that they had like not a cheating problem, but like basically since day one, since they're on Unity, everybody just drops in and cheats. They could just any server they join, they could just do it because they have authority or too much authority.
Gotcha.
So the balance is that I think when we make a game, it's going to be a little bit of both, where the server's going to own objects like physics objects and stuff like that, and then the players are gonna. I haven't really decided yet, but I tend to do like the players kind of can go nuts. If they really want to cheat, they can cheat.
Yeah. I think that's like it's a good mentality a lot of times. I know a lot of people like. When like Nintendo patches out like a Mario 64 skip in like the Nintendo Switch Online version, everyone's mad about it. It's like, hey, that was fun. We just want to do that. If we want to ruin our own experience, why get mad?
Emergent gameplay.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's just good to know, because like if we do multiplayer, there's going to be a lot of bugs that are basically caused by improper updates to when someone owns something and you try to move it.
Yeah, that's fair.
Jitter or RPCs, so RPCs are part of multiplayer where you've got to like call to another peer, and there's lots of different options on there on the high level multiplayer page. It's really, really interesting stuff to me, because this is my favorite part.
Yeah, no, I was just saying, everything seems like very multiplayer focused, which it's got to be a fun dev stack to be good at.
Yeah, but what we can do together is like gameplay programming ideas and stuff like that, and basic. It sounds like you can do some basic modeling. We can bring in a little bit of an artist, but we can just try to do some gameplay.
Yeah, heck yeah. I've been percolating on. I think we've talked about 2 general concepts that I think would fit FriendSlop very well. Which is traveling traveling castle type thing or digging a big hole.
Mm-hmm. That's right. Those are the two, and I think we have to resist the urge to combine them because
Yeah, I've been thinking about that so much. I'm like, man, then I'll go like, oh, if we combine those, then we have these things, then we had roguelike elements, and then it becomes a big monster that won't ever get finished.
Here, let me go ahead and open up my. Have you ever used Miro?
I think I might have. It sounds very familiar. Is that like a post-it note type like idea type
Yes,
thing?
that's exactly.
I mean, like I've just been running. Are you even still in this lobby? I've just been running around shooting things.
No, I left
Did leave
a little
okay.
bit.
Smart.
But that's good. Let's say. Do you know the word kino?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'm gonna call it a friend.
German for movie, but it just became adopted by the internet as like awesome thing.
Yes, so we're not gonna call it a friend slot. We're gonna call it friend kino.
Friend Kino. I've heard Friend Gem too. Both are good.
Friend gem. Ooh, that's like got that underground kind of vibe to
It's
it.
a hidden gem.
That's a good point. Interesting. All right. So now I have. Oh my gosh. Okay, that's a long link, but basically, let's see if I can draw here. Yeah. And have you seen Howl's Moving Castle?
I haven't, but it's on the list.
Yeah.
I've seen I think I've only seen Spirited Away. I saw that years and years ago. I remember a girl I had a crush on in high school was like, "This is my favorite movie," so I watched it, but not seen it since.
The best reason to watch a movie.
Yeah.
Where's the rest of the tools here? I know there's a way to not make these look like stickies. Oh, shapes and lines. There we go.
Let me go quickly put my my big jar of applesauce back in the fridge.
Yeah, quick.
I've been munching.
Then we'll do some.
Some iteration on ideas. Okay. See if this. Oh, it makes you put in your work email, dude.
Don't need to put your work email. Just put any email. I just use my private Gmail. My sign up with Gmail.
I have my I'm gonna use my spam email, which is funny because I have it called Dylan's spam email. So whenever I'm at like a store and they're like, "Oh yeah, you got to put in your email to do this thing," and I read that out to them, they kind of give me the side eye. Okay. Cool.
I'm gonna do.
All right. Hello. Have I ever used Miro before? Oh, is it gonna tutorialize me if I say I haven't?
I don't think so. I don't know. Sorry if this is a bad thing, but it's a little
No, don't worry about it. It's good. It's good to learn this sort of tooling.
Yeah. So, like, dig, gather.
And when I was walking to the fridge, I did also realize a good inversion of because I think the main draw behind digging is you have like it's like the friend gem, the friend Kino foundation is you have this like pretty simple task that gets larger, and your ability to do that task gets larger at a probably slightly slower rate, until you eventually lose. Like I think that's the whole friend gem shtick. Unless I guess there's like a win condition in certain games like Peak and stuff. I was thinking for something that in which you dig, it could be you have a requirement of depth to reach, and if you exceed that depth, you get bonus points to build more stuff to get better at digging. And the end goal is to get as deep as possible. Or maybe you dig through some threshold and it's like, congrats, you won. But this could also be we could also make it be some way of you're building a tower. Like the thing that I remembered is those things in arcades, the really scam like cheat machines where you got to press the button to stop the blocks at the right time, and if you win you'll get a PS5, but you never win because it's kind of rigged. Kind of like those where you're building a tower and it gets smaller and smaller, and you're kind of like competing for space with your friends, trying to reach a certain point.
Oh, interesting.
That sort of thing.
Trying to think. I really love this idea of how you summarize it as a simple task that gets larger and more difficult to manage. And these thresholds, like, Repo does this great job of like raising the stakes every round of like, now I need this much money,
Yeah, exactly. I think that's a good point. Or what I was wondering is, if we're doing hole digging, do you think it should be like maximum depth, or do you have to like widen the hole enough such that your mining platform can continue to lower down to the next point? Like
I'm almost, one thing we could think about is tunneling just straight ahead, like the London Underground.
Yeah. That's really cool. And something I don't know if this is entirely like a good comparison. Or actually, you ever play called Unrailed?
Yes, I have.
I really like the thing in that game where the task stays the same, but you're sort of building out a framework for how you like solve problems in the future, kind of like. For example, if you're tunneling, let's say you could build. I think I mentioned this to you, but like minecart tracks or zip lines or like resource carrying automation or just something like that, such that like as you complete more of the task, you're sort of building out this foundation upon which it will get easier. It'll get easier to a certain point as the task scales up.
Yeah, I do think that is an excellent model because what that does is it forces that forward movement. It forces you to plan ahead. It also forces this frantic aspect of it, right?
Yeah, that's true.
And like obstacles now become, fun, and you need to coordinate. Like, hey, help me move this boulder, right?
That should be our main focus too. Is more of those moments. Like I think not the worst, but I think something about Peak that sort of frustrates me a little bit is that a lot of it can like they sort of hard coded for you not running away from your friends and going off alone. If you go up to the top, do you know about the Scoutmaster in Peak?
I've only seen it once because I blew the horn.
Oh, okay. Well, basically, the Scoutmaster's in the game so that if you just climb it yourself, he shows up and kills you.
It throws you down
which
the
I think is a
hill.
Yeah, he throws you down the mountain, which I think is a pretty in my opinion, it's a pretty hacky way of doing the like don't abandon your friends thing. I think that should kind of just happen as a natural result of the gameplay needing your friends.
Oh, interesting. Because like I guess we never split up enough to see him because I've only seen him like, I don't know, I have 20 hours and I only saw him once, and that maybe we were just good at keeping together.
Yeah, I think you learn to. I mean, I learned to appreciate the Scoutmaster because I have the friends who are like the lone wolf. I'm gonna go do my own thing. I'm like, no, the points of the games we have fun together. Go get thrown off the mountain. But I think it's good when you need to have friends to do stuff. Kind of like those doors in Helldivers where you need two people to open it up to get the super credits. Like that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah, Helldivers doors. This is great. Yeah, you have all the same inspiration as me. Friendship doors.
Yeah, friendship doors. But I think every task should be a friendship door. Either you can do it by yourself, it's way harder, or you get a friend to help you out, and it's almost trivial.
So now what I'm imagining is, I have this prototype of Tundra, which is that snow game with the procedural walking, and that now has a giant fucking drill on the front of it, and it walks at a pace, and if you do not prepare the way for it, um, it's gonna, crash or something, right? Like it's unrailed,
That's smart.
but 3D.
That's true. I mean, I wonder if it's drilling. How do you prepare the way for
Oh
it though?
fuck, it's the drill. Like we have to, yeah. So maybe that's not the.
It could shoot like a laser beam, clear out a big patch of tunnels, and then things spill in, and you got to clear them out of the way or something. Or maybe it's like
Oh, a laser is a cool one, but like, and the laser stops when there's like an obstacle. Or I was thinking that when you get to like a cave, like a chasm of some sort, you would have to throw your teammate across the chasm to build a track or something. Maybe it's on tracks. Like just I don't know if it has to be exactly unrailed. I don't know.
I had this idea in my head of sort of like Scrap and Lethal Company, but not really. Like even before that, we had this tunneling idea. You're on the surface in like a Mad Max wasteland, and in order to not only make fuel for your machine, but also to like let's say build upgrades and stuff, you need scrap, which I was imagining as like little physics objects, either big or small. So let's say like you could have a tire iron, right? That's one person. You click, and your hands kind of snap to it, and it's like a little physics object in your hands. If you right click, you like chuck it, and you chuck it into this big. I guess you kind of had that in your game. You had this like oil barrel.
Yeah,
right?
that's right.
The oil, for example, like that. But let's say you have an entire like rusted car. You can go, hey, 3 friends, let's go all pick this up, chuck it into the car. We get a ton of scrap and fuel for working together. That was kind of an idea that I had, and also in that way you move these chunks out of the way. So let's say if you're drilling, maybe there's a bunch of detritus in the path you need to pick up and put into the thing to fuel or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, and harvesting or gathering, I was thinking like cutting down trees and stuff like that in this game that I have. To clear the way, or just collect stuff. Like there's another game called Raft where you're
Never played it, but I know about it.
Yeah, you're on a small raft and you can kind of build it out, and it moves on its own in a way towards the thing, and then you collect trash as it floats by. But it's the same thing in there's another game, A Long Drive, where you're on a post-apocalyptic Mad Max type thing, and you got to stop and pick up gas or gear and chuck it into your wagon.
Sounds very similar to this idea I had in my mind, actually.
Yeah, here, I'll see if I'll get a screenshot of that, and we'll just keep dumping stuff in this board.
And for like a moment to moment, I had sort of the idea of. So I had this idea of you click something, you grab it, and then you right click, you throw it, and that's like that's like that's like the simple action that you do.
Yeah.
But for example, what if a wall has a ledge on it? You can click on it to grab it, and then you right click to throw, you'll push yourself off instead. So you can kind of climb by grabbing little like ledges or something like that. Little idea.
Plenty. I'm just trying to get some. This thing is harder to use than I remember, but I'll make it work.
I should probably not be yapping and contribute on this.
No. We want to like junk trees. What it was like fuel for sure. Another thing that's gonna be important is like the theme in terms of like the setting.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of relabeling these. And I believe your inclination is more of a fantasy setting, personally. I don't know.
Yes, I don't like. Not that I don't like. I like when things are whimsical and weird.
Yeah, I really don't like sci-fi. Like, let's say, no space. I don't like space. I think space is not an inspiring like setting a lot of the time. I think it like works for like Helldivers and stuff, but
I agree. A lot of my ideas don't tend to be space. I did have a really goofy direction that like is probably not the right fit for something like this if we're doing a tunneling thing. But I don't. Let's take a good example. But something like primitive prehistoric. I don't know why I've always liked the vibe of like big goofy brute like dudes wearing like loincloths or whatever doing stuff. But I like that kind of aesthetic. I don't know if you ever
It's
played
interesting.
this game. Yeah, I don't know if it's like having a giant mining rig. Maybe it goes all Flintstones and it's got like this big stone thing, but
Yeah.
I don't think enough fits.
Prehistoric Mining Co.
And also, I'm kind of hesitant to do dwarves because I know Deep Rock Galactic has the
Yes.
whole dwarf mining thing all cornered and that market curbed.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And like unfortunately, like I thought about that, but then again, they are space, right? They're space dwarfs. So
That's true.
that's nice that they've left that open. Um,
Maybe we should do gnomes because I think gnomes are always fun.
Gnomes are better than dwarfs. There is that gnome Friends Lab game that just came out.
Oh, is there?
Yeah. Honestly, I thought it looked really like a cash grab, but some people said it was fun, but you know, I think you just want to go just different enough to distinguish and like not directly look at things like that and just say, hey, we can make this interesting in a way and mechanically it's still going to be a cooperative task. And I think like this is kind of the shining, what you said is the shining kind of example in my mind. It's, come on, let me make this thing huge. Simple task that gets larger and larger, more difficult to manage. Scale and like that simple cooperative.
And I
And
do think in that regard, I think digging down might be more interesting. I don't mean to just push for that,
yeah.
but like for that, like for example, let's say like your friend is like you keep digging downwards
Mm-hmm.
and then you hit some sort of gas leak or something, or you hit some sort of bug infestation. They all come out to come kill you.
Yeah.
And you have to like lower a rope down for your friend to lift him back up or something like that. I think that might be an interesting way to go about it.
Mm-hmm. So dig does help a lot there. Um, in Deep Rock Galactic, there are also like sort of tower defense like rounds where you're kind of like fending off a horde, setting up turrets. Um,
Okay.
I don't know if I want to make it like a tower defense type game where it goes in rounds where like but digging does help better than tunneling maybe.
I do think at least for the friend gems I've
Yeah.
played, I think the lack of player agency is kind of awesome for it. Like because I think I like Lethal Company more than Helldivers
Mm,
conceptually because you're doing what you can. You're still pretty weak, and I guess there is stuff you could do to figure out the monsters, but it's a lot more like you're a little dude doing a little thing with your friends as opposed to shooting hordes.
yeah, it's true. And I made this prototype with the intent, with the Helldivers kind of vibe. There's lots of shooting and multiple guns and upgrades and stuff like that. Um, and there is like a thing to be said about just having a combat loop, but in Lethal Company that is more like a stealth and even in Repo, right, a hiding loop.
Yeah, that's true.
There's ways to equip yourself, but they're weak. The other thing though is that if you play this like fighting the shooting games that I made, like the FPSs and some of the others, there's something to be said for just mindlessly kind of like defending and shooting too. Um,
That's true. Yeah.
and maybe it's more like close combat, like sword and sword and shield, spear, you know, rather than shooting because I'm not really big on guns anymore because of I like a fantasy setting. Swords, shields,
I can agree with that. Yeah.
yeah,
And I think
spears.
we'd have to figure out a way to make it so that hacking and slashing is more than you stand next to the thing and click when it's and then run away when it's doing its animation. I think that's what Dark Souls does. That works
So
pretty well.
yeah, so here's one of the other really tough things is that the third person does allow you. So Valheim does this great where you have block, roll, sprint, stamina.
Yeah.
And I've played probably the most out of it's my game of the decade. Like I love Valheim the most of anything. And I think that the combat there is one of the truest, like most fun parts. The enemies are challenging and the curve of the enemies becoming more challenging and the weapons you upgrade feels so good,
Yeah.
And you've got daggers, you've
See
got
that.
spears, and it is just poking and rolling. And but it is also Dark Soulsy, Souls-like in that you can get a perfect block, right?
I Something that's coming to my mind is I really like this idea of like throwing stuff around. And even within this framework, maybe if you're like a bunch of gnomes or something with little daggers and spears, you're individually weak, but you could throw each other up on top of an enemy to stab at its head or something like that. Like some sort of like like how goblins fight in like fantasy
Yeah.
media, something like that, where you're not these individually strong things, but you can coordinate like weird little tactics and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It could be fun.
Yeah, yeah, and like if you look at games that come out with like not lethal, Arc Raiders now, that has a great like basically figuring out point where all the enemies have these weak points, but you just really don't know where they are when you start. And as you figure them out, the enemies become a little bit less scary.
Lethal Company does that too, actually. Yeah, it's like you don't know that the dogs detect you based on sound when you first start playing, so you just go, oh, these things just kill you.
True. They do have different mechanics, and the PvE part of the game I found when I was developing my Souls-like, it's so hard to make good behavioral enemy AI that's interesting. Because you need something that is dynamic and complex and like engaging for the player, right? So
yeah, absolutely.
But I think there's like some like kind of figuring out there's like a balance between pacifism and not, let's say, stealth on this side and pure just like unadulterated shoot.
I'll be honest, I'm not a stealth fan.
It's not. I mean, I'm trying to describe Lethal Company enemies, right?
I guess like avoidant combat, right?
Yeah,
like something like that.
Let's say horror, because in a horror game you don't have the tools. Arcade.
Yeah, that's true.
Maybe that's
my.
If you see over
here, I guess that's like I guess a good example of that in horror. At least like with horror with combat is like which, I don't even know if I want to do horror. I'm not.
Yeah. Again, it's horrific when you get ganked by a Lethal Company enemy because you don't have recourse. You're scared. Run away. Or let's say, fight versus flight, or right.
Or Resident Evil 1 versus 4, where you're in these tight hallways, you have limited resources and all that, compared to like your drop kicking guys, which I love Resident Evil 4, but it's just not scary to me.
Yeah. Let's see.
Speaking of like little dudes in some sort of fantasy steampunk thing. Sorry. Will this paste right? Sorry, what?
It will.
You can't paste it in.
They
got mad at me. But like the little like coal sprites from Spirited Away, right?
Yeah, they're amazing.
Like those little dudes, something like that, maybe. It's been cutesy.
Mm-hmm. Very easy to model.
That's true. That's a good starting point.
There, I got it.
Oh, that's the image. Yeah, that's what I meant to put in.
First one.
Little cute dudes. It's sort of like you ever play Pikmin? I'm a really big Pikmin head.
Yeah, played Pikmin, but a long time ago.
Love Pikmin. If combat in that sort of sense could be very fun, where it's as an individual you're very weak, but as a group your force gets sort of multiplied. I love me some Pikmin. Sorry.
So maybe the cavern is just full of these little Pikmin, and the game becomes about managing your army to do work or fight, And
That could be fun. I was thinking the player is the Pikmin, but that's also a really good
well,
idea.
yeah, they're best in mass. So that's why these guys are cute. It's not because there's one of them. It's because there's 10 of them and they all goof.
Yeah, that's true.
So if you're like, they can help you remove a boulder, but maybe you can up control 10 Pikmin, right? But all four of you have 40 at your disposal. And when a big beaked whatever enemy Pikmin tries to eat some of your Pikmin, everyone says, "Command your guys over here," you know. And
That's
you
true.
swarm.
Yeah, that's a good point.
You have to swarm enemies to beat them, but otherwise you run away and like pull back, and then
That's a
that really kind
yeah.
of
That's like
automates the combat into auto battler territory, which
yeah.
auto battlers are very fun because it's like you set up for success and then you kind of let them go at it.
That's true. Yeah, I'm wondering. I guess so. Would each player be? Would you be able to give dudes? I guess you could give dudes to other people, but like, would it be like you could take someone else's dudes to do fighting, or would it be more
I think
like?
the let's say the castle is pumping them out, and like every once in a while a new one is available, and like, okay, I've already got 5, you take the 6th, or you take the 3rd one, and it's like, I know you lost a few in the battle, right? Like, you need to re-up. So
That's so each have your own army, but you control who gets what.
yeah,
That's
as a
smart.
team.
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
So you're a gnome, you own like one little Pikmin, and as you go you need to he's gonna mine for you. You can help him mine, but the more coal you mine and put into the machine, the more little dudes are gonna pop out and help you.
People can do like you're a little dude with like let's say if you're the dude with the yellow hat,
uh,
you got these little like
yeah, so many cool furnaces. I'm just gonna take this whole fucking page. I really think tunnel is like straightforward because it's on a
yeah.
not a 2D like, it's just like the extra dimension of going vertically is just so much harder. And you can still move up and down vertically, but it's more like ramping up and down rather than digging straight down. Because if you give them the ability to dig straight down, they're gonna, what are they gonna do? They're gonna go straight down. You know.
Yeah, that's especially with the current stuff we're talking about. I think that's a lot more of a like a good way to work off of things.
And it's more easy to have straightforward barriers like, oh shit, there's a huge chasm. How do we cross it? Oh shit, there's this giant rock in the wall. We've got to blow it up, or here's a random combat arena. Like maybe it comes out into an open area and a bunch of fucking enemies fall from the skies, and
so I'm drawing little dudes, like
yeah, these
little
look
elementals,
elementals. Yeah. So you've got your base guy,
the
and
star.
then some of them are good at this or that.
Maybe it's very Pikmin. I feel bad, but I think I came to this idea without going. I should make Pikmin. You know,
No,
like
Pikmin's fun. I just think that it's a nice way to simplify combat. The only problem is, so then what becomes the player's mechanics, because the player can direct these to go fight. Let's
that's
say
okay, yeah.
a control wheel, right? Like these wheels are very good. I'll draw one.
And also, we were talking about complicated netcode. I think coordinating the actions of a bunch of little dudes could be a pain for you. Obviously,
Yes.
I'll want to help out with some multiplayer stuff, but I think you'll be leading the effort. Isn't like I don't know as much of this stuff.
The frick is the pen tool? Where am I, crazy? Oh, there it is, the freehand under the eraser. So I'm pretty much intimidated by nothing when it comes to multiplayer now.
Okay, that's good.
The only thing I probably couldn't do is like an MMO, which is
That's smart.
yeah, but yeah.
Also, sidebar, if we could figure it out, I'm really obsessed with games that have like claymation art styles,
Mhm.
and that would be a cool thing to explore if at all possible. But
Yeah,
obviously
you
that's
just
pretty much
chop
how
a
Godot
couple
works.
frames off the animation, right? And it gets like,
Yeah, cuter.
cuter. This is
Dude, I think the drawing is just way more fun than all the boxes and stuff they
Oh,
give you. To be
absolutely.
honest,
Yeah, I don't think I took that into account. But what I'm trying to do is, I think I could simplify this a little. But this is the ping wheel, and it's very popular in a lot of games now. I'll do
oh yeah,
this. So back, and then this is a sword. This is a defense. This is like a dig here.
and I think maybe a good way to do this is because I think the way Pikmin does it is you have you press a button to throw and you do one at a time, or you control the whole swarm, or maybe there's like this little scroll. Maybe this is done through you hold down like Z and like or maybe I don't know V or something, and a little context menu
Oh
opens.
yeah,
And if you want to
and
control a
they
certain number, you have
gather.
this
Yeah. Oh yeah, you can like
scroll
pick
wheel.
them up. Yeah, scroll wheel.
And then you could do like I don't know. It's like oh you're right now you're selecting
Yeah,
10 out of
yeah,
30,
yeah.
and you go up to do more, and you go down to do less, and then you just go hey 10 dudes,
Mm-hmm.
you go fight this thing. Or maybe the action's contextual based upon what you're looking at too. Like if you
True.
look at
Yeah,
enemy
yeah.
at
You
combat,
can just like, oh yeah, it doesn't make sense to like point at an enemy and say mine it. Yeah, the only thing I have concern with is that now, like, the player is now a just a witness to what's going on rather than active.
I was wondering that too. I think if we find a way to get the player engaged, a good extension of this is, let's say your friend gets taken down by something, right? You send your little dudes to carry him back to the ship while you fight or you to carry him back to the castle while you fight the thing,
Yeah, it could be a word.
get
Yeah,
revived.
yeah, you're kind of like babysitting these little things. And the other problem is that the AI of these little things is like really tough, right? And I don't mean AI, I mean behavioral AI, right? That's something we
Yeah, that's true.
probably would need an expert for. Because you could animate them and make them do the basics, but then they need this long decision tree of like, okay, now I have no priority. What's my next priority? We could do what's called GOAP, goal action oriented programming. Um, and it's basically a hierarchy of goals,
We could even maybe
but that's
we
not
could really simplify it. Like it could be like let me try to vocalize my thoughts. This might not be a good way because if we're doing management, I think you kind of want it to be inherently complicated. But maybe for friend swap, we could deprioritize that and prioritize the players moment to moment.
yeah.
Um, it could just be like if they're mining, they mine the thing till it's done, or you call them back, and when they're done mining, they're little magic creatures, so they teleport to you or something.
That's true. That's fair.
Or when they're carrying something, instead of having to worry about pathfinding, they all collect around it, and then they like levitate it over to the ship or something instead of having to walk through a path. Or I don't know, like
Yeah,
or when
pathfinding's not too
when they're fighting
bad.
something, they fight the thing, and then when they're done, they teleport back to you. Like we can make it like that
Yeah.
to kind of simplify it.
But yeah, I think we're kind of at this place where we could basically look at a combination of the theme and setting, and then the simple task that gets larger and more difficult to manage.
Yeah.
And then I think the smaller box that we're not locked in on Pikmin or whatever, but basically is like just like how do I serve the goal? And in Repo, it's just literally picking stuff up, like helping your friends carry it, right? It's like I had an idea for like a furniture moving thing where somebody was driving a big like moving truck through a city, and you have to have your friends come in and they with physics blast these sofas through the walls and stuff, and like basically move out all the furniture as fast as possible and move it into another house as fast as it's like kind of goofy physics based thing. And
Heck yeah,
that's a different like moving truck or garbage man simulator. Everybody rides on the back of a garbage truck, right? And you can leave one person's driving it, and that's not a bad one to add to the board. But
I think that's fun. Maybe even if we're worrying about like the loop is the small actions the player does while.
Yeah, so what I'm trying to think of is like, okay, so that's that set of mechanics in Repo, and then Helldivers obviously has Hella Combat, and Lethal Company also does the repo thing where, okay, it's just about gathering and bringing back without dying. And then if we just kind of step back and say, okay, we have task setting, what are the best mechanics that serve that setting? And it might not be Pikmin, even though this is really cool.
Yeah, I'm feeling that way too.
Yeah, but that's what these boards are about, is that you go real crazy, you go real high, and crazy
Go
ideas.
crazy, go
And yeah,
stupid.
let me get up, and then you move back and like pare down, or but I'd much rather, I think, have a setting that's more fantasy rather than more sim.
Modern or sci-fi.
Or silly sim is another way to do it too, because silly sims with physics are fun for sure, but I don't know if
Yeah,
I could get as excited about that idea.
I do like the moving truck approach. I mean, that's sort of the. I guess it's sort of like that loop of if we're talking mining or even like you're in this, you're trawling the wasteland, right, with this big machine.
Mm-hmm.
uh you have this machine that needs stuff,
Yeah, it's
and
breaking down.
you got
It's breaking down as you go. It's like, you need to
yeah,
repair it. You have to defend it. Even like that's what I was picturing with the Tundra one, is that um, you're responsible for its health because enemies are coming to attack it.
that's sort of this it's definitely not very combat involved, but it's very like I really like the idea of it being physics based, like where you throw things around, like you throw each other, you throw yourself up walls, you throw items towards the thing, like very wacky physics based stuff. Then if you get hit by something, you go ragdolling
Mm-hmm.
off into the horizon.
Yeah, and you know what?
Um,
That actually serves like the unrailed idea. We kind of left that one behind a little bit, but Unrailed has this idea of like not tossing, but gathering and throwing back to the. You actually can't. I don't think you do a whole lot of physics stuff, but like this physics thing, somebody's nearby, like you toss it over to them, and then they can be responsible for loading it carefully, right?
yeah, I have horrible handwriting. Wow. And, I really do like this fantasy set dressing. So
Yeah, I
it
do
could
too.
just be that you're these little like whole elemental type things, and we don't even have to worry about like coordinating little critters.
Yeah. I don't think maybe just keep it simple, right? Because that's a ton of entities, and we're already gonna have enough to do.
Yeah, exactly.
Really cool idea, though. It's something we can always have in the back. Um, let's see. Box.
We could even have this like. I think it would be fun if you could throw your friend to get them up a ledge, right? Um, but if you have multiple people throwing the same thing at the same time, it goes a lot faster, right? So let's say like if you really want to go crazy, it's like, oh, we need to get over this really far ledge. All three of us will grab Andrew and we'll chuck him over that ledge, and then he'll do stuff on that side
Mm-hmm.
to like build a path for us to get there.
Yes, Chuck teammates is always a good, enjoyable thing.
It's sort of like the peak thing where you can pull each other up or give each other a little bounce, but push to a higher extreme.
And you can injure them for sure.
Yeah, exactly. You miss your spot and they go falling off into the horizon. I think that's a
All
lot of
right,
like
who wants to go next?
yeah potential for comedy.
Yeah. Hmm. So in this scenario is like making not enough progress, like the task that needs to be happen is like depth or distance into the mountain.
Yeah,
Um
sorry, yeah, and
maybe
and maybe it's like,
yeah.
sorry, no,
I'm
you go.
listening. I'm listening. Go ahead.
Well, yeah, 'cause maybe it's like, oh, first, I guess well, there has to be some sort of external requirement to move like X amount of distance, right? Or no,
Yeah.
maybe it's just like maybe the task gets harder as in the path gets harder.
Hmm.
Like
I'm wondering if we need the unrailed like laying tracks mechanic.
we might not. That actually might be a that might get in the way.
But the reason why is that this thing is on its way. You've got to keep making progress. So what's stopping you from literally just sitting down, stopping, and chilling for 10 minutes?
Yeah,
A
that's
timer.
actually a really good point.
So
Why maybe the
I don't think I like the idea of just like a timer of a spot expiring and being like, oh well, we lost because we ran out of time, or we didn't get to the mark
ran out of fuel?
fuel. But that could be it. Maybe it's about what provisions you have, and like maybe you can see my thing of you are a gnome and you've got a castle or something. This is more dwarf like, but they've got an underground castle and they are sending out expeditions into the depth of the mines, and you've got a task to basically lay a new track or get 1,000 meters in. And in Unrailed, the train speeds up and the obstacles become more, and it's harder and harder to lay the track. At the beginning, it's really casual. We're just kind of just like, oh, here's a track. Oh, here's a track. The other thing about Unrailed is that the things that you're loading produce the things that you need to keep going. It's like this natural loop, right?
Yeah,
So
that's true.
maybe it's not as like direct as as a train tie. It could be more like, okay, the more I load in here, the more TNT I get for blasting, or the more iron ore I get for sharpening my axe or pickaxe, because maybe the digging or tunneling mechanism is based on durability. And to reload, you've got to go back to the train, get some new stuff, right?
Yeah,
Maybe the pickaxes are super disposable and they just, break, or I don't know if people will like that, but I'm trying to figure out what the, resources are doing, fuel for progress forward.
it's true. Yeah, maybe it's not even like the castle itself moving. It's just we have the castle and we have this quote unquote train for ferrying resources back to the castle, right? And
Mm-hmm.
the goal is to keep getting resources, but you can only dig out in this one direction. So, actually, I don't know. I like the idea of the the vehicle
Mm-hmm.
needing fuel, and then like a player could like direct it as in, like you get in the driver's seat for a bit, and you control its next motion. So
Mm-hmm.
maybe it's easier to turn around something so that it's less of a hazard, but
Yeah.
you use more fuel
In
that
that
way.
case, though, I would like to do the open world where you can just like drive it anywhere, on a Badlands type style, because then
I could be down for that. Yeah,
if you can control it, and it's more like Mortal Engines or uh, like a Mad Max style.
that's fair. I could totally be down for that. Actually, maybe the
Yeah, I
tunnel
think
might be a
that would
bit
have more
limiting.
shooting and defending against crazy people and
Beast.
beasts and desert terrors, flying monsters and stuff like that. That would be more like a direct like port of this one that probably is just too ambitious.
That's fair.
Um,
I mean, yeah, that's true.
and the nice thing
I
about
like the.
Unrailed is
Sorry, there you
that
go.
it's non-combat, right? The combat is the okay. The antagonists. We've got to think of antagonists here. time is the antagonist.
Yeah, just the clock.
Um,
I do like the idea of a non-combat conflict. Honestly, it's sort of where my head's at right now. But
yeah, yeah. I'm just saying that I think if we went Mad Max style and made it like above surface and stuff, that would be A, more scope, and B, more combat.
fair.
Yeah.
Well, it might not have to necessarily be more combat. It could just be like it's more hazards to avoid. I
Yeah,
guess like you wouldn't need to shoot things, but there's things to destroy the car that you need to drive around, or you need to things to eat you and your little gnome friends like dragons or something like that.
Yeah. Maybe the fuel and water are your limitations, right?
Yeah.
Like oh shit, we're out of resources.
And then that way, or like you know how like every in game, in every like you know in Lethal Company, there's you go back to the company planet and peak. There's like the little like fires with the marshmallows. There's like a chill out time, right?
Yeah, a safe cavern. Yeah, a safe cavern. Yeah, of course.
Maybe then the chill out time would just be like if you need water, it's like rain or something like that. It's like time until next rain. You know, you got to keep making
or
keep going.
Or just simply an oasis. Oh man, we really need an oasis, or else we're not gonna make it.
Yeah,
like a watering hole. I think it could feel really bad to just continuously starve or dehydrate to death as your losing condition.
That's true.
In peak, you just fair. You get tired and pass out. That's a pretty decent antagonist. Is like hunger and fuel. Gosh, this tool is not as good as I remember it, but we'll get it done. Okay, now I'm getting the hang of it. Just click add the same object here. Put this as yellow.
I don't know why I just got this vision. This could just be pure nonsense.
That's what we're here.
I just got the idea of, like the ship. The idea of there being a vehicle on the ground you can hide it out, and I think is I think it caused some problems. Like, oh, what do we do if the players just want to camp out in the thing? Oh, you do these things, but then it's a bit of like a balancing thing,
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking we could be like a like literally like a Howl's flying castle, whatever, up in the air, chained to the ground that you're like directing, and you're this little ground crew running around collecting stuff that you send back up to it.
Yeah, for sure.
Something like that.
Yeah, maybe this thing is. Yeah, I'm trying to think because we've got these like settings, and I think we're working through a couple of different ones like X or cavern. The cavern one I think is interesting because it nicely constricts. And then, you could even say like Dark Forest, right? Because I love the Valheim Dark Forest.
Yeah, that's fair.
And then also, I'm gonna make all these smaller. The tundra, I think, is still like fairly interesting to me, but
I'll be honest, I don't mess with the Mad Max. I think I just don't like deserts all too much.
You don't like media. The desert.
If you feel like I can find a way to chill with it, but for some reason I just think it's a very bland setting.
Yeah. This one, the cavern has a lot going for it because it is interior in a way. It's easy to make these as rooms because when you do like a procedural gen or procedural layout, right, you can make a variety.
I guess you want it to be like grid map is like pre-made rooms randomized in position.
That's right.
Yeah, that's not too interesting.
It is, but I mean, a grid map, it doesn't have to. You don't know it's a grid map, right?
Yeah,
You
sure.
because like that's how procedural generation works, is that it just has an input and out, an in point and an out point, right? And then you build a bunch of rooms and they kind of like lay out, right?
True. I think for a cavern idea, it could be fun to do like just for like visual. I'm thinking like setting stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like subterranean biomes are always fun. You know, like
Yeah,
it could be like when it's easier, you're in like the moss type zone where it's like underground moss, and then you go to the fungal zone, and then you get into like the lava zone. That's sort of like we got biomes like that.
yeah,
Fun.
absolutely. It's kind of like and there's a lot of tech out there that lets you do essentially dungeons or rooms. So I'm pasting a couple of things in here. 3D, and this would be a really cool thing to learn too, but you don't have to like think of them as rooms, because as long as it like narrows at some point and there's an exit and an entrance, and you can have exit B, exit C, of that shape. It can get complicated, but
Ooh, and that way we could have if let's say if you're building tracks or if you're steering or whatever, we could have like,
oh,
oh,
here's
this exit's easier to get to, but it leads to the lava zone. It might be easier to go to the mushroom forest.
mm-hmm,
But we have to spend more resources to get there. Like if we have different exits to go to the next quote unquote zone,
mm-hmm.
that could be a good cost benefit analysis.
Yeah. So definitely physics throwing materials into the walking thing behind you.
I like that a lot. Yeah.
And then the things we've got to figure out and kind of noodle on is like, okay, how do we make this like a loop? What's the antagonist? Is it, you know, running out of fuel, running out of time, running out of health? Maybe it's a peak like antagonist where, you just get to a point where you're just too hard,
Hungry, tired. Yeah.
hungry, tired, and weak, and you guys pass out. Maybe it is health, and you guys run out of respawns, or um, if you're made out of coal, maybe the more wood that you throw into the machine, the more health, the more respawns you get.
That's true.
Be-
I do. I like the idea of the players being like little elementals here. Maybe not even just coal, but like
yeah,
for some reason I just like these little dudes I drew on
yeah,
the right.
of
These little
course.
like
You can have little
it could be fun
different
just to
powers. I was thinking coal
you can collect.
because if you're like, okay, so I am a Helldivers esque expendable entity.
Yeah.
So I'm expendable. I have 15 reinforcements left. Oh, if I throw enough coal on the fire, we'll get a new little buddy. And someone who dies can take that new little buddy out for a spin.
That's true. Yeah. I mean, you could be collecting whatever, right? It could be like
Yeah.
biomaterial. You chuck it into this big magic furnace, and it spits out these little star dudes. And it's like, oh, that's my next version of me. I'm an expendable little
Yeah.
guy.
And maybe you can see them like bouncing around in a little tank.
That's really cute. That's awful. That's awesome.
Like we just animate like a oh, yeah, we've got like 5 more in storage. You're good to go. Go take some risk. Uh-oh, we're down to
It'd
our last one.
be cute if when there's more of them, they're like all smiling and happy, and they wave at you when you walk by and
And
stuff.
then there's just one lone guy here.
one sitting down bored.
He's
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm hesitant to make like the elemental ones first, because maybe that's a add-on though, because we'd have to make unique mechanics for each one of them. But with these, it's like everybody's kind of on equal footing.
It could just be set dressing, You could
Yeah,
just be a yellow star dude, and your friend's like a red fire dude. It's a good way to
yeah,
differentiate, but you might not even
yeah.
play differently at all.
That's true. But this, labels and colors, we can always have color shift them, but they're mechanically the same.
Yeah, it's good to be mechanically the same.
But yeah,
Different colors might be fun, just so that like if we could have you be like little dude and you get like smacked against a wall and you splat, you'd be like, then your friends walk by and it's like, oh, Andrew got
oh
exploded
yeah,
there.
yeah, that's true.
Like
You
red
can
juice.
We can definitely do like health bars and player tags and all that, green, red, blue, white, yellow. Like, yeah, that tracks. But yeah,
Different colored blood, but
I
not
just don't
blood,
want to
just
give them
hot.
the expectation if they spawn as a fire guy that they have firepower and lightning if they have lightning, until at such time we can implement
That's
that.
true. That's true.
And again, you got to meet the player's expectations. And um, I think the biggest challenges here are going to be environment and antagonists, like figuring that out. Because let's start with essentially this mechanic where you run around, and we'll start with that Godot plushie. You saw that prototype, you played it, where you can run around on the beach, right?
Yeah.
That plushie would lend itself pretty well to this like little gnome or elemental creature.
Very well. We just keep the arms, we change the base pretty much, and it could be fun to have. Even that ragdoll could be very fun to have to incorporate that in some way.
Yeah, and so you're all about running through this cavern in front of your walking. It doesn't have to be a drill, just your mine cart. It could be a walking mine cart, and or a furnace. Like I didn't pull these out, but you can see below. There's some really nice ones.
Oh yeah.
All these are so good. Like I just googled fantasy furnace.
Third one is AI generated. My op.
Oh god, yeah, it's awful. That's life. But
yeah, it's the internet now. We've got to deal with it.
Here, somebody made these.
These are great though. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's take a look.
I love the bottom right one that has like a little face.
Let me see. Oh yeah. Look at this. I picked one out from there. These have walking legs.
Dude, yeah, that's awesome. I like the
fat
one. The one looks like a My Neighbor Totoro type thing.
Yeah, exactly. There's in Howls, there's like a little guy a furnace creature.
And this way, we could just ask Grok to make all the art with the ChatGPT with the Studio Ghibli filter. And dude, we don't have to worry about art.
Yeah,
I'm kidding.
No, it seems like it'll have more effects, but I think core features. Let's do.
Inexpendable, dude. You can chuck each other around.
Yeah, let's.
I mean, maybe that could be like a good. Maybe that's sort of you managing the number of reinforcements could be our fun thing. Cause it could be like it would be easier for the group if you sacrificed yourself to do something like that. Like maybe if you sacrifice yourself, you shoot out a bunch of juice that extinguishes fires, or you make some sort of platform that makes it easier. But then you have this many less. Like you ever play UFO 50?
I have. I studied it. I haven't played it, but
Mortal.
Mortal, yeah. That's the one where you're like shooting out people.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, that sort of vibe could be.
Make sure you add these to the Mortal.
Yeah, sorry. Sorry.
Type them up.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. Like then your resources, your people become your resources, and to gain more.
Yeah. And then if there's a big enemy and you get all three of your friends to throw you at once at it, and you just explode when hitting it, you sacrifice yourself to take it out, or something like that.
Interesting. That now is very interesting. Host join. Die. Respawn. Let's do some. Sure, switch to dock. There we go. Okay, so I've got. Wow, that actually was sick. It asked if I wanted to switch it to a dock, so I could.
Oh heck yeah!
That's cool. So in the prototype, we want to make this bigger, but whatever.
I'll add that to the antagonist. Maybe the limited resource isn't even fuel clock or whatever. It could just be running out of lives. Maybe you need to spend lives to get to the exit.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's a resource. So I was thinking, yeah, because that's still like essentially fuel for your run.
Yeah, that is just fuel. It's a good point.
Okay, so what I plan to do is take basically that little beach example and have a little server or something set up where you can basically start out still thinking like we are missing a little bit of a game, but I think there's something coming together.
Yeah, I really, I'm enthusiastic. Sounds really
Super.
cool.
And how about some visuals, like a little cavern or like, maybe the starting area that has like a little fire or something where you start out,
Like a lobby.
lobby
Yeah,
area to before you depart. And then once you depart, I think you've drawn this mine cart here. It could be on wheels, it could be on tracks. We'll have to figure that out.
could be a walking furnace type
Could
creature.
be a walking furnace, but that is our thing we're trying to advance and protect. In Repo, you have that floating grab cart, and you kind of gravitate to it, you know?
I've never played Repo. I got to check out some more of
Oh,
it.
okay, yeah. Well, maybe we can play it. Maybe it goes on sale. There's so many, but it's like a shopping cart.
Okay, yeah,
So again, you have people tossing stuff in here. So I think what we do is we start with tossing stuff into the thing.
yeah.
I've got to have physics prediction track, like, so I don't know, maybe it's too perfect information for tossing, but grenade guide is like an arc preview. So in like Halo or whatever, you toss that grenade, you got to figure out where it's going. But in like more
Oh,
modern
this you hold
games,
down the button.
yeah,
Yeah,
it previews where the arc goes, and as you move, it shows it. More forgiving.
pretty good. Yeah.
I don't know if we want
Um,
that or not, or if
you
it,
might not need it.
yeah, probably
I
not.
want to ask you because your demo is third person. You want to do third person or first person?
So I think that depends on, um, depends really. Uh, oof. It's a big decision, isn't it? Because I think a lot
I
of
think
good people are going to be doing first person, and third person is going to lend some goofiness. Some ragdolling is going to be more fun that way.
viewing your own ragdoll is more fun than third
Yeah.
person. Um, I do also think for the proximity chat, which is I think is a pretty staple feature of the stuff,
Hmm.
which might not need to be.
Yeah, of course you got to have that.
Um, but I think the first person lends better to like the immersion in that respect. You
Hmm.
know, like it's a lot easier to think that your friend is talking to you from over that way if you're viewing the world from inside the head of the player.
That's a good point. We did also, I'm scrolling up, we have our things where you can have the idea of the heist or the spy game where, like, it's all about like what you can hear and can't hear, and there's puzzles around that. Um,
Yeah,
Gadgets and radio. Yap Yap does the voice command stuff. It's really fun. Um,
yeah, that is fun.
we voice chat into the core loop we didn't really address today, but we have in previous chats. So definitely thinking about that too. Mm. And then that's an interesting highlight. I don't know why I did that. I think third person is something that would distinguish the game from other games.
That's true. Yeah, it's not a lot of third person
But you have a good
precedent.
point about like, oh, it's easier for me to believe. But then again, like when I'm playing Valheim, and I think the prox chat, we don't use that. Obviously, I don't think there's much. Is prox chat in Valheim. It's Discord. But it's not like I don't see that Viking as my friend.
That's true.
But
I
the
guess my main
voice
concern
isn't
is
coming from him. That's for sure. It's coming in my head more than it is because he's omnipresent.
I guess even beyond immersion, it might just be confusing to like. Let's say you're looking backwards at your character's face and you hear a noise from the right. Should you expect that to be from the perspective of the camera or from the perspective of the player?
Yeah, you can do 3D audio, of course. Stereo is gonna help you. Yeah, definitely an interesting idea. I don't know. I think you would expect to hear it from the camera
Yeah,
position.
that makes sense.
Yeah. But third person versus first person, I think it's much cuter.
That's true. Yeah.
I don't know, and yeah, I think the ragdoll really helps. Seeing your guy get smushed or crushed or whatever. Not sure.
I do like the whole dynamic of, let's say, lives with a resource, and you have these very, like, especially we're doing like little cute cold creatures, sort of like Pikmin. You have these very macabre demises for these very cutesy creatures. I love that kind of aesthetic. Yeah.
Yeah, and even better if it's like a little bit clay based, you know.
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
And you know what goes well with the clay base is the mortal. Like, maybe you can warp your character body to be more like a long, like, plank.
Or even like let's say you jump up, you grab the ceiling, you turn yourself into a rope or something, and your friends can use that as like a physics thing.
Yeah, rope.
Something like that. Yeah, yeah.
It's like, I'll sacrifice us to make a bridge.
Yeah, yeah. That's actually really cool.
That's wild.
I do love.
That's wild. And then that definitely means third person, because then you can like show a preview of what shape you'll be.
Yeah, that's very smart. Yeah.
And then once you commit to it, your guy transforms into that. And if you miss, you miss. Kind of like lowering the rope in Peak, where the rope, you get a little preview, but you could still just pin it wrong and it could not be long enough, you know.
That's true. And I guess it's honestly like it's very impactful for the end game, but it's probably not even like if we do, because we can just do third person, and if people go, hey, you know, this would be more fun in first person. I feel like it's not even a hard change to really do. Like we have to change some stuff, but
yeah, I mean it depends on how far we go, right? But I think I could see these guys like basically turning into a rock, like these elementals, right? You know, the rock, the sacrifice helps you advance.
And that's a good. That's like a. We could have you be anything. You could do anything, whatever you want, or you could even be like when you respawn, you select what kind of elemental you are.
Yeah, what shapes you? Yeah, I was just thinking. I don't know. I think like you have to think about what are the useful shapes. In Mortal, it is one shape. It is, wait, no, it's like block, plank,
arrow, explosion.
Interesting.
Yeah, and I think if we're, for example, if we do like a mossy biome, like
I like explosion.
If you explode in fire, you'll burn down all this like stuff that's in the way, or you explode on an enemy, or you explode next to your friends and they get mad at you because but it's like a fun friend gem thing. I think it's a pretty good
maybe explosion is your only defense.
Yeah, that's actually awesome.
You know?
Yeah. And that way, if all three of your friends throw you at something and you explode on it, it's like you have a projectile weapon technically.
Yeah, it's true. And then that also helps third person, because now you're not too attached to that thing you're piloting.
Yeah, exactly.
Because now you're just sitting on this, and you respawn at the minecart.
Yeah, and there's much less disconnect then between the first person.
And then if you really take it to the advanced, Mortal, I think, does it auto advance like the screen?
Yeah.
To the left? Well, that's like Unrailed, right? It just keeps moving.
Actually, no, Mortal does not auto advance. It advances once the player advances to a certain point.
Yeah. But you can't go back,
Yeah.
Cool. Classic. Well, cool.
Which I mean, maybe the puzzle then is just opening this path from start to end without using up all your lives.
That is not good for co-op, because puzzling doesn't allow you to explore and like goof around and have fun because there's essentially not a single solution, but there is a solution. It's like the way that we want these obstacles to work is not that, okay, well, I need to like be conservative in the number of things I wear. It's like, okay, well, it's throw the friend across, he becomes a block right at the right moment. Or
You're okay. That's a good point.
it's like more of a skill test than it is a brain test, because a brain test is it can be puzzle platformer style, but that's a single player type experience where I think about my friends who run off and peak, who that's how they have fun. We want to embrace that a little bit and let them like fall down a mine shaft or fuck it up a couple times and not be a big deal.
That's a good point.
And like there is a limit on how many times they can throw themselves down the mine shaft before we can make some advancement and get frustrated. But like with Mortal, it's really like, okay, yeah, I have exactly 12 lives. I'm getting to the end. Am I going to make it? And any one of those could be awry, and I have control over all 12 of them.
It might even be good if to minimize the frustration, because if lives are this really limited resource that carries between levels, if your friend fucks up early on, it's really frustrating, right? Like that sucks. Like if let's say your friend jumps off the cliff, you don't want your first reaction to be like, dude, what the hell? What if later on we need that? We could have it be in between each area, lives reset. So
yeah, no, I'm thinking the gathering, like tossing stuff into the thing, is going to be enough. Okay, you burned a couple lives. All right, your turn to go gather.
Yeah, exactly. You gather to get to the area, but it's not like a meta goal. So that way, if you want to, let's say the path is open to the end, or the goal is fulfilled, and you have 10 lives left. It's like, all right, I'll explode next to all my friends, send them all into the chasm, no harm, no foul. It's funny.
Yeah, that's fair. I was thinking like farming, like essentially collecting things, the fuel thing. Like you run out of lives, you gotta fuel up a little. Which can be fun, part of the loop. But yeah,
absolutely.
this is cool.
Maybe we could even have like, an incentive to explorers that we can have abilities as like things you feed into the furnace. Like let's say you start off with just turning yourself into a block, and you can maybe find explode, and you put that into the furnace. Then now when you respawn, you can become an exploding guy, or you have that option.
No, that's cool. That's Kirby Crystal Shards. You get your enemy's abilities.
Yeah, we can curve out. We can have it so that if you bring an enemy, I guess, but then you have to find a way to kill enemies.
Yeah. I mean, just your basic like, Minecraft has like the little fist. If you punch something enough, it's gonna die, right?
Yeah, that's true.
I think we have to have.
I like the idea of your only option being explode or something like that. Like
yeah,
if you're gonna harm something, you gotta use a life.
That's fair. Maybe we'll see how much this Mortal thing holds, but we have some options to explore from here, and we can come back to this board. So I am tired. I got a couple more things to do today, and I'm leaving town because I'm currently based in Woodbridge area, Virginia, but I was in Richmond for 30 years or whatever, so more attached there. And I will be at the game thing on Monday if we want to meet up in person.
Yeah, heck yeah.
But today I've got to go and do all the fun stuff that's not